The warm sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting a dappled pattern on the soft forest floor. The air carried the fragrance of blooming jasmine, mingling with the coolness of the morning dew. Sitting beneath the ancient Bodhi tree, Buddha was an embodiment of serene wisdom. His calm gaze met mine, and I felt the depth of his timeless understanding. You wish to understand the silence of wisdom, Buddha began, his voice as gentle as the breeze. But first, observe the stillness around us. He gestured to the forest, where the only sounds were the chirping of birds and the rustle of leaves. In silence, the world speaks in its purest form, he said, his words resonating with undeniable truth. I hesitated, then asked, Master, why do the wise often choose silence over speech? Is silence not the absence of teaching? Buddha smiled, his expression filled with both kindness and patience. Silence is not the absence of teaching, he replied. It is the teaching itself. Profound and unspoken, he picked up a small pebble and held it in his hand. Observing its smooth surface, imagine this pebble, he said, as a truth waiting to be revealed. If I cast it into the river, it creates ripples, but if the river is turbulent, the ripples lose their clarity. He dropped the pebble into the flowing stream nearby, and we watched as the ripples spread gracefully. Silence calms the mind, making it ready to perceive truth clearly, he explained. I listened intently, my thoughts swimming in the sea of his wisdom. Listen not only to words but to actions. Observe not just speech but the motives and patterns of behavior, Buddha replied. Words may deceive, but actions reveal the truth. For deeds are mirrors reflecting the intentions rooted within a person's heart, he added. Otherwise, silence is the greater gift. The Bodhi tree above us stood tall, its leaves whispering secrets carried by the wind. Consider the tree, Buddha said, pointing upwards. Does it shout about its existence? No, yet it provides shelter, shade, and oxygen. Its silence is its offering. His words painted a vivid picture in my mind. A tapestry of understanding woven from simplicity and profundity. Silence, he continued, allows wisdom to germinate like a seed planted in fertile soil. It requires patience, care, and time to grow. A young boy, new to the teachings, whispered, Master, will words ever stop hurting? Or must one always struggle against their power? The Buddha smiled, his eyes filled with compassion. Words cannot harm if you release the need to assign them meaning beyond their fleeting sound. Think of a stream. Silence does not mean absence. It means presence in a different form, he said. It is the space where learning begins. The pause that allows the mind to reflect. Their words are merely stones. Let them sink. The boy nodded, his innocence blossoming into understanding, his heart lighter than the burdens he had carried. Silence has its own power, subtle but transformative. As the morning sun climbed higher, its golden rays illuminated the scene, casting a divine glow upon Buddha's serene face. The silence of the wise, he said, is not born of fear or indifference. It is born of understanding and discernment. His words lingered in the air, their meaning expanding within me like the ripples of the pebble in the stream. Master, I asked, how can one practice the silence of wisdom in daily life? Buddha smiled, his expression radiating infinite compassion. By listening more than speaking, by observing before acting, and by valuing reflection over reaction, he answered. The forest seemed to hold its breath as if absorbing the gravity of his teachings. Silence, Buddha continued, is the bridge between knowledge and wisdom, between observation and understanding. His voice was calm, yet it carried the weight of 1,000 truths. I realized then that the silence Buddha spoke of was not emptiness but fullness, a richness that transcended words. Master, I said, your silence speaks louder than any words could. The presence of another person might provoke anger or a sense of wrongdoing. Ah, the Buddha said. And yet the source of anger is not the person, but the belief in malicious intent. In stillness, you will hear the whispers of wisdom. His response resonated deeply. Each word a seed planted in the fertile soil of my soul. Remember, Buddha said, that wisdom is like the moon. It does not shout its brilliance. It simply shines, guiding those who seek it. The forest seemed to come alive with his words, as if the trees themselves were bowing in reverence to his wisdom. The wise speak less, he concluded, because they understand the value of silence and the power of reflection. As I sat there under the Bodhi tree, I felt a profound sense of clarity and peace. The sun now stood high in the sky, its light bathing the world in warmth and hope. When you release this attachment, when you no longer see yourself as separate, the opinions of others lose their grip. The disciple nodded, though his eyes still reflected uncertainty. The concept of releasing ego is elusive as the flowing water. The moment lingered like a timeless melody, its notes etched into the fabric of my being. The silence that followed was not an absence but a presence, a testament to the depth of Buddha's teachings. And in that silence, I found the answers I had been seeking. Another day, another lesson awaited, and the disciples followed Buddha along a serene path by the flowing river. The gentle murmur of the water was accompanied by the rustling leaves, creating a harmonious melody of nature. Buddha's presence radiated tranquility, his every step measured and deliberate, as if he walked in tune with the earth. The disciples noticed a fisherman struggling with his tangled net, his face marked with frustration and exhaustion. Buddha stopped and observed the man, his gaze soft yet penetrating, as though he saw beyond the surface. "Why do you struggle so, my friend?" Buddha asked, his voice kind and soothing. Like the river's gentle current, the fisherman sighed deeply, wiping sweat from his brow as he answered, "Master, the river is abundant, yet my efforts bring only weariness. The more fish I gather, the harder my burden becomes." The disciples listened intently, sensing that Buddha's response would carry a profound truth. As his words always did, Buddha picked up a single fish from the edge of the net and held it lightly in his hand. "This fish," he said, "is like a truth. Held with care, it nourishes. Gathered without discernment, it becomes a weight." He gently returned the fish to the water, watching it swim away with effortless grace. "The wise do not collect truths to hoard them," he explained. "They share only what is needed, for excess can burden the mind." The disciples exchanged thoughtful glances, the lesson beginning to sink into their understanding. "Master," one of them asked, "how can we know when a truth is needed and when it is better withheld?" Buddha smiled, his expression filled with gentle patience, and he pointed to the river's steady flow. "The river does not pour all its waters at once," he said. "It flows steadily, giving life without overwhelming." The fisherman paused in his work, listening closely, as though Buddha's words carried the answers to his struggles. "Master," he said hesitantly, "does this mean I should gather less, though the river offers so much?" Buddha nodded, his gaze warm and compassionate. "Take only what you need," he advised. "The abundance of the river is not diminished by restraint. It is honored." The disciples followed Buddha as he began to walk again, the lesson hanging in the air like a fragrant bloom. "Truth," Buddha continued, "is a gift, not a possession. When shared without purpose, it loses its power to enlighten." He paused beneath a shady tree, its roots sprawling like a network of wisdom, connecting earth to sky. Picking up a fallen leaf, Buddha held it between his fingers and turned to his disciples. "Consider this leaf," he said. "It is just one among countless others, yet it holds its unique place in the world." The disciples nodded, their eyes fixed on the simple yet profound symbol in Buddha's hand. To know the forest is good, Buddha said, but to focus on a single leaf can reveal its essence. His words resonated deeply, painting vivid images in the minds of those who listened. The disciples felt the weight of his wisdom, light yet profound, like the leaf in his hand. Master, one disciple asked, does sharing less not risk withholding what could help others? Buddha's eyes sparkled with understanding as he replied, sharing less does not mean withholding. It means offering what is most valuable, not what is most abundant. The river continued its journey, winding through the landscape, a silent testament to life's persistence and adaptability. The wise understand, Buddha said, that not all truths are meant to be shared at once. Timing and intention are everything. The group came upon a small bridge that crossed the river, its wooden planks worn smooth by countless footsteps. Buddha stopped at the bridge's edge, his gaze fixed on the flowing water below. The bridge, he said, is a passage, a connection between two sides. Truth, like a bridge, must be carefully constructed. He turned to his disciples, his serene presence filling the space like a quiet dawn. If the bridge is overloaded, it will collapse. If the truth is shared recklessly, it will lose its strength. The disciples felt the gravity of his words, understanding that wisdom was not in the abundance of truth but in its thoughtful delivery. The fisherman, who had followed at a respectful distance, approached Buddha with humility in his eyes. Master, he said, I see now that my net was heavy not with fish but with my own greed. What should I do? Buddha placed a hand gently on the fisherman's shoulder, his touch as light as the morning breeze. Release what you do not need, he said simply. In doing so, you will find freedom and clarity. The river gives endlessly, but only those who take wisely truly benefit. The disciples watched as the fisherman began to untangle his net, releasing some of the fish back into the river. His movements were deliberate, guided by the newfound understanding that Buddha's words had imparted. The river seemed to flow more brightly, as though reflecting the man's lighter heart. Buddha resumed walking, his disciples following close behind, their minds brimming with thoughts of the lesson they had just witnessed. Remember, Buddha said, that the burden of truth is not in its weight but in how it is carried. The sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and gold. As the day's lesson settled into the hearts of the disciples, they understood now that silence was not an absence but a presence, a deliberate choice that honored the depth of wisdom. As the group reached the edge of the forest, Buddha turned to his disciples one last time that day. The wise speak less, he said, not because they lack words but because they understand the value of restraint. Truth, like water, must be given in measures that nourish, not overwhelm. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts filled with gratitude and reverence for the timeless wisdom they had received. The river flowed on, its waters glistening in the fading light, a silent reminder of the lessons it had inspired. In the stillness of the evening, as the first stars began to appear, the disciples reflected on the day's teachings. They realized that the burden of truth was not in its possession but in its sharing, a delicate balance that required both discernment and compassion. Buddha's words echoed in their minds, a melody of wisdom that would guide them in their journey toward understanding. And as they sat in silence, the river's gentle song became the voice of the lesson itself, flowing eternally through their hearts. Another day, another opportunity for learning unfolded, as Buddha and his disciples gathered in a garden vibrant with life. The morning sun bathed the earth in golden light, its warmth a gentle embrace for all present. Buddha walked among the plants, his movements unhurried, his presence calm and reassuring. He stopped near a patch of fertile soil, holding a tiny seed delicately between his fingers. This seed, he said, is a story waiting to unfold. Within it lies the potential for roots, leaves, and blossoms. The disciples leaned forward, their eyes fixed on the small object in Buddha's hand. Eager to grasp the lesson, Buddha knelt and pressed the seed into the soil, covering it with care, his every action deliberate. The seed must be hidden beneath the earth, he explained, for its growth requires darkness as much as light. His words carried the weight of profound understanding, their simplicity masking their depth. One disciple ventured to ask, "Master, why must the seed be hidden? Does not light give life to all things?" Buddha smiled, his gaze filled with gentle patience. "The seed needs the silence of the soil," he replied. "In its hidden state, it gathers strength and prepares to grow." The disciples nodded, their hearts opening to the wisdom embedded in the act they had just witnessed. "Truth," Buddha continued, "is like the seed. Hidden, it germinates. Revealed too soon, it may wither before its time." He watered the soil lightly, the droplets sinking in, nourishing what lay beneath. The garden seemed to hold its breath, each flower and leaf a silent witness to Buddha's teaching. "Master," another disciple asked, "is it not selfish to guard truths, to keep them hidden from those who seek them?" Buddha's eyes sparkled with understanding as he answered, "Truth guarded is truth respected. It is not withholding, it is nurturing what will one day flourish." He pointed to a tree that stood tall and strong nearby, its branches heavy with fruit. "This tree," he said, "began as a seed buried in the earth, unseen but alive with possibility." The disciples marveled at the tree, understanding for the first time the silent journey it had undertaken to reach its fullness. "Growth," Buddha said, "requires patience. The wise do not rush the process, for they know that timing is as important as effort." His words resonated deeply, sinking into the hearts of those who heard them. Much like the seed into the soil, one disciple, struggling to grasp the full meaning, asked, "Master, how can we know when the time is right to reveal truth?" Buddha turned to him, his gaze kind but firm. "Listen to the rhythm of life," he said. "Truth reveals itself when the soil is fertile, the rains fall, and the sun shines." The sound of a bird singing in the distance punctuated the lesson, its melody weaving seamlessly into the moment. Just as the seed does not grow in isolation, Buddha continued, truth too thrives in connection, in harmony with its surroundings. He gestured to the garden, a testament to the interplay of elements, earth, water, air, and light. The wise understand, Buddha said, that silence is not absence. It is presence, a space where transformation takes root. The disciples reflected on his words, their minds turning inward, seeking the fertile ground within themselves. Master, one of them asked, what if the truth, once revealed, is met with rejection or misunderstanding? Buddha's expression remained serene, his voice unwavering. A seed does not question its growth. It simply reaches for the light. Trusting the process, he paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle. Like rain sinking into the soil, the wise plant seeds of truth with care, he said. They do not force growth but trust in the unfolding of life. The disciples felt a shift within themselves, as though Buddha's teachings had planted seeds in their own hearts. Master, another disciple asked, is there a greater truth than the growth of wisdom itself? Buddha smiled, his response as gentle as the breeze. The greatest truth is the journey, he said. For in the journey, wisdom is born, not from arrival but from every step. The garden seemed to bloom anew, each plant a silent testament to the power of growth and the patience it required. Remember, Buddha said, that the silence of wisdom is the soil where understanding takes root. In that silence, life flourishes. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts filled with gratitude for the lessons they had received. The sun climbed higher in the sky, its light bathing the garden, as if to bless the moment, and in the stillness that followed, the seed of wisdom began its quiet journey toward the light. The path to understanding is not easy, Buddha replied, but it is illuminated by the light within each of us. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.